Students, this is Miss Hughes, and today we are looking at conditional probability. It's one of those questions about a class with a certain number of students studying different subjects. So you can see a Venn diagram coming along. Right, so we've got a class. Some people study French and some people study Malay. Always a good idea to start with the one that they both study, the ones who study both subjects, which is 8. There are 8 students who study both of them. There are 20 students who study French, so we need this to be 20 in total, which means that has to be 12. We need 15 students studying Malay, so that has to be a 7. We need 29 in total. So far we've got 12, 20, 27, so we need another 2 for our universal set. All right, let's fire through this. The probability that the student studies French. Well, how many students study French? 20 out of 29. Probability that they study neither language. These 2 people study neither language out of 29. At least one language. Well, all of these people study at least one language. Some of them study 2, but they all study at least 1. So that's 27 out of 29. Studies both languages would be those 8 people in the middle out of 29. Now the next 3 questions have the word given, which is quite a critical word. I'm going to show you how to do this just by using logic, and then I'm going to show you how this formula, which is in the formula sheet, could also be helpful. So you find a student and all you're told, or the only information you're given, is that they definitely study French. The question is, what's the probability that they study Malay as well? So if you look at it on the diagram, you're given the information that they definitely study French. So they definitely are not these people. These people are out of the equation because they don't study French. So given that the student studies French, what's the probability that they also study Malay? And that's these 8 students. These are the only ones out of those 20 that study Malay. So it would be 8. It's no longer out of 29 because remember these people are out of the equation because you're given the information that they study French. So it's 8 out of 20, which simplifies to 2 out of 5. All right, let's try the next one. So probability that their student studies French given that they study Malay. So you're given the fact that the student definitely studies Malay. So we're dealing with these 15 students. And out of these 15 students, these 8 also study French. So 8 out of 15. And then the last question, probability that they study both languages, given that they study at least one of the languages. So let's deal with the given first. We're given the fact that they study at least one language. So these 2 people are out of the equation. So our answer is going to be not out of 29, but out of 27. And then how many of those study both languages? It would be 8. So that's how to do these logically. And I'm just going to show, probably with this example here, how you could have used this rule. So what we would be looking for is probability that they study Malay, given that they study French. And it says it's the probability of M intersection F, I'm just applying this rule here, divided by the probability of B, which in this case would be F. Okay, just see how this matches up with that. We've got M given that F, the intersection divided by F. And like I say, this is in your formula sheet. All right, let's see how that looks. So probability of M intersection F. Probability of M intersection F is 8 out of 29. I'm going to turn this big line into a dividing sign just to make it fit. Probability of F, so probability of French, is 20 out of 29. Oops. And then if we do this division, we've got 8 out of 29. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal because we've got a fraction, so times 29 over 20. The 29's cancel out and I'm left with 8 over 20, which was the same answer as before, 2 out of 5. Now you will notice that the 29 was cancelled, and that will happen every time, so you can just use the numbers, the numbers in those two sets. So the number in here, which was 8, divided by the number in here, which was 20. But like I say, you always have the choice of using the logic or using the rule. That is the end of this podcast.